live on all the stuff. Last one of 2020. Didn't think about that until just now.
Wow.
So
last one before you're 21 too.
Well, nobody cares about that, but
sure they do. Happy birthday.
Thank you. The 41st episode. I don't know how many we actually did this year. Probably like 37 of the 41, 38, something like that. But yeah,
it seems a little extreme, but sure, we'll go with that.
We started last November. We probably did 3 or 4 episodes that year, maybe like 5 or 6. But, I think we'll do even more in 2021. I think 40.
Well, yeah, you want to do it every week or after every game.
Yeah, but then the offseason really gets you. But hopefully this time we actually have podcasts to do during the tournament, right?
True.
That will be good. True. Anyway, we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, I think. I got to make sure we're all up and running. I'm pretty sure we are, but episode 41. So we're halfway to 82, 9 away from 50. So that's really all the numbers that you need to know. 59 away from 100. There you go.
Halfway to 82. I like that one. That's a good one.
You think this is the midway point of a normal NBA season?
Okay.
So sure. 41. So you really know whether you're going to make the playoffs or not. I think we are, as a podcast, going to make the playoffs. Anyway, Illinois beats Indiana in what was a horrendous basketball game in the first half. I mean, it was disgusting. Illinois had 1 point in the first 4 minutes. So 69-60 the final. We, of course, go with a higher score. It's really hard to gauge how Big Ten games are going to go because some of them are extremely high scoring and the other ones are just disgusting. And this was one of those low scoring games. Indiana's had multiple of those this year. You look at their game against Northwestern, it wasn't very high scoring, but Illinois really proved that they can win lower scoring games. They can win high scoring games. And the only games they really have lost have been games where offensive rebounds and free throws become a huge factor. So they can't let that happen. I mean, they have been shooting the ball a little bit better from the free throw line, apparently, recently.
Definitely the last couple games they have. So I think it's pretty obvious not getting the Michael Jordan treatment today. Ayo Dosunmu, player of the game. 11 for 17 from the field, 4 or 5 from 3. He went 4 of 4 from 3 when Illinois needed it the most. Easy back-to-back 30-point games. Came off 30 with Penn State, and then again had 30 in this game. He was 4 or 5 from the line, 5 rebounds, 2 turnovers. It seemed like he had more than 2 turnovers to me. I was kind of shocked at that stat. But maybe he gets the benefit of the doubt sometimes. But he was all Illinois needed in the second half. So team had 11 turnovers as a team. So I think the most anybody had was 2, which is definitely better for Illinois. And I apparently during the game, Underwood got pretty mad and was yelling at everybody. And he told Ayo, "It's time to be you." And he said afterwards that he knew that Ayo was a hard rocking dude.
The hell kind of a quote is that?
That's the kind of quotes we're getting from Brad Underwood these days, guys.
It's only December. It's going to get really bad here soon.
But I thought that was great if Underwood told him that, it's time for him to show up and do what he does. And he definitely did that in the second half.
We got a lot of open threes. A couple lucky ones where like the defender gets out of position or falls down and he's wide open.
The one they made was, the guy fell down and there was no time on the shot clock. It was kind of a desperation shot. And his shot definitely looks way better. I know we've talked about it, but it looked good. So
he's a hard rocking dude, man.
Hard rocking dude.
I've never heard anybody say anything close to that. But whatever. Let him do what he wants.
Yep.
Weird quotes in December.
Yeah.
Wait till March.
Obviously your player of the game is Ayo Dosunmu too.
Yeah.
We don't need to discuss that any farther. But you said it at the beginning. What a terrible first half of basketball this was on both ends. It was 1-1. You were talking about how Illinois had 1 point through 4 minutes. You don't see 1-1 ball games very often, especially 5 minutes into the game. I mean, Illinois' offense was just what they do. They, run the weave and try to get the ball to Kofi, and they failed a few times. DeMonte had a really bad entry pass to Kofi. But so they, Illinois brings in their guys. They bring in Curbelo and Georgie and Grandison, and they sit Io and Kofi again. I don't understand why Underwood keeps doing this, but seems that first sub in Curbelo's coming in for Io, which the way Miller's been playing, I think that's a mistake. But I'm not the head coach of Illini basketball, but Underwood really got after Kofi and Georgie for the rebounding. Said that they were lollygagging, so he's another solid quote from him.
Yep.
But they just were bad. I thought Georgie actually did come in, put in some really good minutes to start. Had a couple nice moves around the basket. I wish that he could just Io could touch him or something and pass off those skills he has around the basket or Kofi could touch him and try to get some of those hands and some of those moves, because Georgie looked really good around the hoop. He did make a three. If you guys don't know, Georgie's shooting 100% from 3-point this year. So pretty good for him. How many has he taken?
2.
Okay.
2 for 2. The other one was against Baylor, I think.
Yep. And Underwood had some high praise for him. He said that he provides emotion, provides a skill set. Most importantly, he provides a really intense and high level basketball IQ that allows him to go play at different spots. So I guess he's still trying to work him into that 4. He really wants him in that 4 because him and Kofi spent some time on the floor together. And it wasn't all bad. So Grandison was not the Grandison that we saw against Penn State at all. He had 9 minutes, was 0 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3, and I think he might have had 1 or 2 rebounds. So kind of weird that Hawkins is just not playing. I don't know what happened. It reminds me a lot of and I'm not saying that Hawkins is like him, but Tevion Jones, where he gets some minutes and then all of a sudden you don't see him for 3 or 4 games. So I don't know if anybody's asked Underwood about it. If he would come on the pod, I'd be happy to ask him, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's is it like a matchup thing?
I don't know, because it
doesn't make any sense.
Maybe his defense isn't there. Maybe that's what he thinks.
I don't think his defense is there.
But Grandison, is he playing better defense than Hawkins?
No, probably not. But
you know how bad a defense Georgie plays.
What do you think about this? Is it like he's going with someone who's more experienced? Grandison's played more college basketball.
I can see that.
This is a good team. This isn't a team that needs to be throwing freshmen out there for the sake of doing it, especially when it's not your big-time ones, which one of the big-time ones has really been embarrassing lately. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I think his confidence is probably shot in terms of shooting the ball. He can't make anything. And I think this is kind of, what we thought might happen if Io comes back.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't explain 0 for 4 shooting from 3. I mean, Frazier, he's been struggling from 3 too, but he went 0 for 4. Illinois just wasn't good from 3 this game at all. They were really slow to start the game. They went 7 of 20, so they got the 20 we wanted up that we've been asking for. But Io had 4 of them. DeMonte had 2 of them, 2 really good ones. And Georgie hit the other.
Yeah. Let me just say this.
You got Grandison 0 for 2.
Yeah.
You got Curbelo 0 for 1, in which he took a terrible 3. I don't know what he was, fadeaway 3. Miller 0 for 4. Frazier 0 for 4.
Yeah, well, here's what it comes down to.
Not good.
If you can win a Big Ten game, when you get 6 of your 7 threes from Io and DeMonte, and Frazier and Miller miss all their threes, and you win in the Big Ten,
it's a good day. Absolutely.
Now, let me just say this. Someone named Might Shred in the YouTube chat has said, Hawkins is not hard rocking enough. I agree with that. I do.
That's true. That's true. He needs to get more hard rocking. Maybe Io can sit him down and teach him how to do that.
Yeah, so, we need that definitely.
But yeah, we talk about DeMonte, maybe one of the best 3-point shooters in the nation. I mean, do we put him in that category?
He's really good at picking his spots.
Yeah, he shoots them when he needs to, when he's open, but he's shooting 70% from three.
It's ridiculous.
Which is unbelievable.
And it's not like 70% on like 10 attempts. It's 22 attempts. So
Yep. And you know, Illinois, they started off slow. They had 9 points through, I think, 10 minutes of the game, which is just embarrassing. But you know, Curbelo comes in and he just changes the offense. The offense actually starts doing things. And it's time that he starts, I think. I mean, I don't know what we're doing. Miller apparently is still going to keep starting. Underwood said that he really likes Miller's game and what he can do. So I don't see Curbelo getting a start anytime soon.
I guess you don't want to change it if you're winning. What the hell?
I agree, but
Miller's defense is a little bit better, I think, than it was in non-conference.
Yeah, Curbelo had 2 steals this game, so he's starting to read passes better. I feel like he's getting a feel for the college level game a little more. But you know, you look at it and you say, okay, do we not? We probably don't change it up. I mean, Curbelo had 30 minutes and Miller had 18, so that speaks volume, I think. You know, Curbelo still scares me when he gets around the hoop. He kind of gets lost sometimes, but it's just amazing. Like, you know, Illinois runs that stupid weave that we hate. And Curbelo actually tries to do something out of it. He'll try cutting through players and getting to the hoop instead of just kind of going through the motions, which I feel like DeMonte does, Frazier does. You know, Miller does that too. Curbelo actually tries to make something out of that, which I think is the point of it. It just seems like the guys don't do it. So I did see, you know, somebody was complaining about Curbelo's turnover to assist ratio. So I looked it up. Some guys were complaining on, you know, because people said that he needs to start, whatever. He's 192nd in the nation, which I don't think is bad, at 1.76. Io is 223rd at 1.62. So, and Curbelo right now is leading the Big Ten in assists. So, and, you know, up until this game, he was only playing 20 minutes or less. So pretty good. I thought we talked about Franklin a little bit before this. He started off really hot, went for 4 for 5. Frazier was not great playing defense on him. And then he kind of stepped it up, and then Frazier goes down, takes a terrible 3. Miller did that a few times, just kind of 2 dribbles and took a 3. Not the threes you want to see. Maybe that's why they don't make any. But he also had 2 steals, so his defense was hit and miss. And, you know, Franklin just started off pretty hot. But Kofi had another Kofi game. I mean, 15 rebounds, which is amazing, 15 points, 6 of 12 shooting, so he's right around that 50%. It's not, you know, the 9 for 9 start or whatever, but I thought his defense was also very, very good against Trace Jackson Davis. I know we talked about, you know, Kofi's size comparison to him and how Kofi should be able to dominate this game offensively against him. Well, defensively, he did really good. I feel like Trace only scored when Georgie was on him. He went 3 of 13 from the field and only had 11 points. So
also in foul trouble.
He was in foul trouble. I agree with that, but he still, you know, played 31 minutes. So
yeah, he had trouble really doing anything against Kofi. Yeah. I think Kofi is back.
Yeah.
I feel like that's safe to say. He's actually doing stuff.
Do we say that like every other game or something?
Well, I think the last 3 or 4 games, every game in the Big Ten, basically, he's played full games for the most part, other than I would say the Rutgers game probably.
Yeah.
But the games they've won, he's been really good in both halves.
Yeah, and that's what Illinois needs. I mean, they need Kofi to do that, especially against bigger guys and guys that have solid centers. So we'll see, in the Purdue game, he's going to have to go against a couple good centers, which we'll talk about later, but we'll see if he can keep it up. So I think Kofi, we talk about his touches and stuff. I think he got plenty of touches this game. He did actually kick the ball out a few times. So definitely good for him. Illinois takes a 29-27 lead into half in this game. And they just started off the second half a little slow again. Miller takes the ball to the hoop and does – I don't know what he does. He just is struggling, like we said. But, yeah, overall good game for Illinois. It wasn't terrible by any means. It was a slow start, but, Indy didn't play that well either. So, and we talked about Georgie hitting his 1-3. The only thing I have against this, if Georgie's going to make them all, go ahead, shoot them. Especially if you're only shooting 2 over how many games have they played now?
10.
10 games. So I'm okay with it. But it seems like they do this screen and Georgie pops. I don't know why they can't set that screen with somebody else, especially because they suck at setting screens. Watch a game and just watch the pick and roll and the picks. And Illinois might set 3 a game. So I don't know. I just wish somebody else was popping out, but they did have one nice one where, he set a screen for Io. He popped. Kofi cut to the hoop and Georgie hit him. So, they're doing things right. I would just like to see somebody else popping off that screen than Georgie. So Illinois made their free throws when they had to. We talked about free throw shooting. They were 14 of 18 this game. They only had 9 fouls, which has been another big thing for Illinois. How many fouls are they, giving up a game? I'll take 9 all day, every day, please. But I just feel like we talked about Kofi. I feel like he doesn't get the calls. We've talked about that before, where Mulcahy pulled on his arm. I feel like he just gets harassed when he goes up for a rebound too. And then you watch Luka Garza and he gets every call under the sun, which, okay, he deserves it. I get it. But come on, give Kofi something, please. I just wish. I don't know. But again, it's always good to beat Indiana. When we were on the Brew Party podcast, this was one of the games like Indiana. I just have a deep-seated hatred for them. I don't know why. It goes back to getting a few recruits that I thought Illinois probably should have got. But again, nice win. And like you said, it's nice to win. Scoring the ball when you don't score the ball. It's nice to have both those. So that's about all I got for the game. I cut my notes in half because you said that I talked too much. So there you go.
Oh, I never said that, but okay. You got that thing that says that Underwood and Archie Miller were both hired 4 years ago.
Right.
Well, let's look at Big Ten coaches that have been, let's say that we're starting with the program they're at since 2015, right? Okay, first of all, Underwood and Archie Miller were both 2017. Another 2017 guy was Chris Holtman at Ohio State. They've all done, I don't know if I want to say similar jobs, but they've, gotten their teams now to where they're, contenders for the tournament. I definitely think Underwood's done a better job than Archie Miller has in Indiana. And I remember tweeting this out like 3 days ago. I was looking at the replies to Indiana's tweet after the game, and Indiana fans are ready for him to go.
Really?
They're ready for Archie Miller to go.
See, Indiana's one of those places where, they were so good for so long that, they're – see you later, bro. So
when was the last time Indiana was, really good? Was it that year where Illinois beat them when they were number 1?
Yeah, probably.
That's probably it, yeah. Was 2013 or something?
Yeah, that would be my
So, other coaches, Fred Hoiberg and Juwan Howard, are both in their second year. Who knows what they're going to be. A guy who has done a tremendous job. I think he's done probably the best job in terms of what he started with and where he's at now. Steve Peichel at Rutgers. I mean, he's right. Him and Underwood both started with bad teams.
Is Peichel in his 4th year?
I think he's 5th year.
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
Greg Gard's the other one, 2015. He walked into an easy situation, so who cares? Right. But yeah, I mean, there's, there's very few coaches in the Big Ten that I think are doing just a great job with what they have and what they started with. And I think Underwood's probably one of those guys. I don't know if he's doing a great job. He's doing a good job. Peichel's doing a great job, I think. Even somehow Richard Pitino has got his team back after Illinois killed them to start the Big Ten. But we'll get more into the Big Ten later in the episode. But now we get to talk about something about Io and then his draft stock. So this should be exciting.
Yeah, I just threw this in there. Io won Big Ten. I believe co-player of the week. We talked about him having 30 against Penn State. He had 30 again against Indiana. So, Io is just playing as good as we hoped he would. After the post-game interview, Kofi and Io were talking, getting questions or whatever, and Kofi kind of cut off Io and said, nobody can guard it. Talking about Io here. Nobody can guard him. Whenever he feels he can take over, that's it. He's trying to be a nice guy. I assume that he was trying to be a nice guy to, not brag about himself. So,
yeah.
And then Deion Thomas, if you guys don't know who that is, but on Twitter at Deion Thomas 25, said this about Kofi. 7th in scoring, 2nd field goal percentage, 2nd in rebounding in the big, plus 6 double-doubles at King Alpha, because that's what his thing is becoming the most dominant big in college basketball. Keep learning from Antigua and Underwood. So big words from, one of the greats.
Behind Garza, I guess, even though I hate that,
Yeah. But this was more on like, so Kofi and Io are 65% of the scoring right now. It's just going to be tough when they don't have good games or when they have off games to find that offense. And Io is the only player in the country averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists over that, I should say. But Brad Underwood, again, about Io said, I'm going to keep saying it. He's the best guard in the country. When we get him locked in on defense, he may be one of the best players I have ever coached. So big words on Io.
Okay, first of all,
who has he coached?
Who's better?
Go ahead.
Who's better than he's coached? Jawan Evans? I mean,
I know. Yeah. Okay.
He's just trying to be nice.
Well, he's just trying to say how good Io is. So
maybe let's see, who could he have coached in his first year at Illinois that I could make a joke about? I don't know.
Okay, good talk.
Yeah. I had something good, but I don't know.
And then about the draft, the NBA mock draft sites have come out with some updates. Last I knew, Kofi was around 70th. I'm not sure how high Io has gotten, but NBA Draft Room has Io at 14, Kofi at 49. NBA Draft.net has Io at 28, and Kofi at 48. And Bleacher Report has Io at 25. Did not have anything for Kofi.
Bleacher Report sucks, so just cross them off.
Okay. Well, my thing is the better Kofi does. Like, I know everybody says he needs to come back. He needs to get better. But the better he keeps doing this year, the less chance we're gonna have him next year.
You know what would make this all easy is just winning a national championship and see ya.
See you later.
Why can't we just do that?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We last week we were hoping this team was going to get to the Elite Eight. So now we're on. Well,
I'm just saying. If we want to make everything easy, and I don't know if they knew this, but just win a title and go. I don't know. I think Io's guaranteed to be a first-round pick at this point. I think his numbers are too good. His jump shot is good now.
Yeah.
I don't see any way that he isn't a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Unless he gets injured, I guess.
So before we go into the Purdue game, me and my buddies, we have a text message group I've talked about a lot on the podcast, and we've been having a discussion. And I want to get your opinion on this, Ethan, because I think I know what your answer is. So Kofi's name is @KingAlpha on Twitter. So University of Illinois put out this big branding type thing for Adam Miller. And it was like Ace Wolf, all that. And it kind of said, I've been this since 11. So I guess the discussion was, do you think that college kids should brand like this? Do you think it was just bad timing to do it on Adam Miller first with how bad he's playing? What are your thoughts on college branding? Apparently it's becoming a big, just a booger, whatever his name is, put something out about Haskins, being let go because he's worried about his branding too much. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, you put me on the spot here. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, random question. So,
if they're on my team, I'd prefer that they, play well. And if you play well, you could do whatever the hell you want.
Okay.
But I think you're going to get some criticism. You're going to get more criticism other than you would otherwise if you're doing all this stuff about how great you are and your brand and, I'm this and I'm that. And then you go out and miss every three like Miller has. You're going to get more criticism than you would if you didn't do that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm all for them doing whatever they want. As long as it doesn't affect their
this
play.
Wasn't on him, but I guess my buddy is more of he gave himself his own nickname, I guess, with the Ace Wolf type thing.
Yeah.
And he just said that he would never call him that, which I told him I was going to call him that this whole podcast. But then again, I look at the stats and see that he was 0 for 4 and definitely not that mentality.
Well, I just think that Ace Wolf needs to play a little bit more with the team.
He does.
And King Alpha underneath, I think he just has to get some shots up and do his thing underneath.
And the only thing, like I said, Underwood did say on Miller, quote, "I have tremendous faith and confidence in him." So, like I said, he's not going anywhere. He's going to keep starting. I have no doubt about it. I wish that Curbelo would start coming in for him instead of Io would be nice, but we shall see.
Start bringing in Curbelo for Frazier, and then see if you can get Miller's confidence up. Shooting the ball, get him some more open looks.
Yeah,
drive and kick.
If Curbelo gets inside and brings his defender down, I think that would be a great way to get him going. Because that's it. Like Miller took some really questionable threes, I thought. Guys in his face, 2 dribble to the side type threes that, they're just not high percentage shots. So,
yeah, we've seen a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the entire Big Ten play with him, he's been doing that. But, I mean, the last good game he had was probably the Duke game at this point. So hopefully he finds something. I don't know. We'll see. So on Saturday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, since we moved the Indiana watch party, we'll be doing one for this one. We'll be live at 4:40-ish for the game. And hopefully they can improve their watch party record to 1-1 instead of 0-1. Because if they lose another one on the watch party, we're going to have to question the whole thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to have to throw something at your TV screen. So
yeah, that wouldn't be ideal.
I'll throw some cheese pizza at it or something.
Exactly. This game is at home, right? I think it is.
Yeah. I don't know. That's your job to do.
I think. I looked, and I think this game is at home, and the next one is at Northwestern. So I'm excited to watch them play Northwestern, but I'm ready for the next one here. But so Purdue's 7-4. They're 2-2 in the Big Ten. Their losses are to, I believe, Iowa and Rutgers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a couple quality wins. I mean, Ohio State and Maryland, not the worst, but this game is January 2nd, Saturday. Yep, first game of 2021 on the Big Ten Network. Illinois 7-3, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Let's go to the Haslametrics, of course. I believe these were taken before Purdue lost to Rutgers last night, so they're a little different. I don't know how much they're going to change, but overall, Purdue is 43rd in the country Not surprising. Illinois second. So they are the friend. Illinois is a friend of the metrics.
Really good. Yeah. The metrics have been treating them well.
And you look at the offensive and defensive efficiency from Haslametrics, not even close. Purdue offensive efficiency 39th, Illinois 5. Defensive efficiency, Purdue 46, Illinois 3. So not close. And these numbers aren't close either. Field goal percentage, Purdue 46%, 27th in the country. Illinois 51%, second in the country. And three-point percentage, Purdue 36, 28th in the country. Illinois 42, first in the country. So, I mean, is
that like overall, or
I think there's some sort of extra caveat to the stat that makes it a little different.
I'm just looking here at Yahoo Sports, and it has Illinois 8th in field goal percentage, 6th in three-point percentage, 4th in points scored, and 27th in rebounds.
Well, nobody cares what Yahoo Sports says, but
Yahoo. Who goes to Yahoo for sports?
Well, I guess Illinois moved. Gonzaga jumped Illinois on Haslametrics for today's rankings. Gonzaga's second, Illinois' third. Who cares?
Gotcha.
But it's field goal percentage versus the average opponent. And what do they define as the average opponent? I don't know. Same thing with three-point percentage. So it's a little bit of a different number, I guess. I'm assuming it changes whether you play a game or not, because maybe it's what they determine as an average opponent. I don't know. Maybe
I was just wondering. Just
still, being second in the country. And
you're throwing out the stats. I just want to know if you even know what they mean.
I do. How about this one? I'm just looking at this. Near proximity field goal percentage against the average opponent, which is layups, dunks, and tip-ins. Illinois 13th in the country, 67%. So they hit their layups. Good for them. Nice. Let's look at Purdue's team. Pretty similar to last year. Trevion Williams is really going to be the number one guy to look out for. He's a guy that's not as tall as Kofi, but he's close enough to him in weight to where he could be a great physical matchup. He's 6'10", 265, averaging 13 points, 9 rebounds on the year. They also have three guards that have been scoring enough for them. Eric Hunter Jr. averaging 12, Sasha Stefanovic averaging 11, and Brandon Newman averaging 10. Those guys will all start. You look at their schedule. They have wins over Liberty, Oakland, Valpo, Indiana State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Maryland. And their 4 losses are to Clemson. And then a game they completely choked against Miami. And then they lost to Iowa and Rutgers. So they're 2-2 in the Big Ten. And they're not going to be an easy team to play against. I know Illinois beat the hell out of them twice last year and held them to really how many points did Purdue score in that game at Illinois last year? Was it like 39 or something? It was it was a blowout. I don't really see a reason why Illinois doesn't beat them unless Illinois just comes out completely flat. Has
happened before.
Missouri, yes, and even the Indiana game, they were really flat. And
Penn
then
State game they were flat. I mean,
and the games they come out flying, they lose. Like Rutgers, they came out flying. Baylor, they held their own, and Missouri was whatever. So nobody cares about that. Missouri and Tennessee tonight. That'll be interesting to check out.
I'm excited to watch that.
Hopefully, I don't really care who wins, because you got to look at it 2 different ways. If Missouri wins, Illinois looks better.
Missouri plays good, yeah, absolutely.
But if Missouri loses,
I hate Missouri.
So either way, you're cool.
I wasn't going to be mad. Yeah, I'd like to see a good game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the SEC's a complete mess. I don't know who's the best team in that conference. It's probably Tennessee right now, but we'll see. I got to pull out my top 30. We're going to go over that at the end, but just to fill some time. You know the deal. Projected lineup for Purdue is this: Stefanovic 6'5", 200. Hunter Jr. 6'4", 170. Brandon Newman 6'5", 195. I believe he's a freshman, I think. One of these guys is a freshman. I don't know. Mason Gillis, 6'6", 230, averaging 6 points, 3 boards. And then Trevion Williams, 6'10", 265. He's a Chicago, Illinois guy. So another Chicago guy that ends up not at Illinois.
Yeah, well, you'll have that.
I mean, hey, he would be
coming off the bench instead of Hamlin.
I don't know if would he come off the bench? I mean, him at the 4 with Kofi at the 5. I mean, who the hell's beating that underneath?
True.
They could literally score 70 points in the paint per game with those two.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. Kofi and Trevion had tough first half last night against Rutgers, and then just got it going in the second half. So hopefully Kofi can handle it, keeps the ball above his shoulders, and doesn't let any guards get in there and rip it away from him.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's still looking to kick it out. So that's, like I said, that he did that a couple times, which I mean was way better than the game before where he literally was a black hole, which it's fine. I get it. Kofi's going to score 50% of the time every time he gets the ball in there. But when you got 4 guys on you, I think that you just got kicked a few more times.
Well, this will be Kofi's toughest matchup since Miles Johnson, I would say, easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robbins really didn't have a chance, and Trace Jackson Davis just isn't big enough underneath yet. So,
yeah. And so Illinois is going to have to play without fouling again, and hopefully they can keep that going. The fouls have been limited the last couple games. Free throws have been better, which towards the end of that Indiana game, that was my big worry. It was how's this Illinois team going to shoot free throws at the end, and they all made them. So, got to keep that going.
You'd also hope that the trend of being able to just outscore Purdue continues, because I don't really know if Purdue has the scoring to keep up. If Io is going, and if Kofi's going, and if Miller and Frazier and DeMonte are hitting some threes here and there. I think that's going to make a huge difference if Illinois can, like you said, stay out of foul trouble, but also be able to shoot the ball fairly efficiently, which they've done this year. I mean, you give them credit. They've pretty much shot a better percentage than their opponent in like every single game.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Just haven't found ways to win some of those.
Losing due to the little things in the game. So, prediction-wise, what do you got?
I got Illinois winning this game 86-78.
See, like, we're at a point now.
They're scoring.
We're at a point now where we're like either predicting the high scoring, which is the 80s.
I have no idea anymore.
Low scoring in the 60s, and I'm just going to go in the middle. So
I'm not Vegas.
I'm going to say Illinois 77, Purdue 69. So I'm just going to go somewhere in the middle.
That's a good score. That's a good score. I first wrote down 86-72. I think Illinois is going to be able to put Purdue.
I was tempted to put Illinois in the 80s.
Made it a little closer.
I could see this being like a 61-48 game, probably. Honestly,
gosh, I hope not.
I don't know. We need to find the scores for the games last year. We need that information. You find that?
Yeah, I'll look it up. Sorry, my bad. I'm slacking.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Purdue barely got over 40 if they did in that first game. The second game was Frazier just dominating that game.
It was last year, 2019.
I don't even know. The first game was in December, I think.
I'm joking.
Last year was 2019, yeah.
Purdue, 63-37.
Yeah, see, that's embarrassing.
The next game was 79-62. So
who scores 37 points in a Big Ten game?
Ouch.
What did they shoot from the field? You got that?
Yeah, I can find it.
I'm gonna say 33%. 36%.
15 of 60.
Oh my God.
25%. They were 30% in the first half, 20% in the second.
How is that possible? Oh my God.
17% from 3 and 40% from the line.
That's an all-time bad offensive performance in the history of the conference. That's so as bad as it gets. Let's go around the Big Ten as we do every episode now. We just talk about the best conference in the country, which isn't even close.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Even though some teams, I mean, there's a lot of ranked teams right now. I don't think some of them probably won't be ranked next week, but we'll see. Illinois moved to 15th in the country, number 15 overall, which, you take it, right?
I'll take it. I'll take top 20 all year.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but whatever.
Yeah. I threw in the Ken Pom because I know you don't like him. Number 6 in the Ken Pom, Illinois has the number 2 strength of schedule and the number 2 ranked offensive efficiency.
Surprises me. Ken Pom has not been friendly to the Illini the last 10 years.
That's why we don't pay attention to him.
And he was stupid enough.
Number 2 strength of schedule, I thought was who's Gonzaga has to be one, I assume.
Yeah, even though Gonzaga has played a lot of good teams, they've also played a lot of horrible teams.
Yeah, but they beat like 6 ranked teams or something.
Well, they beat Iowa, they beat Virginia, they beat
or Nile. Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Villanova? Did they play Villanova?
Yeah. I thought I saw they beat like 6.
I'm glad Illinois hasn't played Gonzaga. That would.
They also played Dixie State Trailblazers last night.
Exactly,
so.
That's what I'm saying. They've played some horrendous teams.
I agree.
Well,
Virginia.
Baylor won again, so.
West Virginia.
Yeah, okay.
Kansas.
Oh my God.
And then Dixie State Trailblazers. So.
And they score a ton of points.
And Northern Arizona.
They also blew Auburn out of the water too.
San Francisco might give them a little run for their money, right? Aren't they?
They did last year.
Yeah.
San Francisco's not very good, but they beat Virginia, so.
Anyways, we're going around the Big Ten, and we're getting way off.
I tweeted last night, and I'm sticking with this for a long time, probably. There's no one even close to Gonzaga and Baylor right now. Like, number 1 and 2 is just so obvious.
I agree.
Kansas is nowhere near them. It's just not fair, and I want them to play each other so badly. And hopefully they figure out a way to reschedule that game. I don't know if they are, but okay.
Be nice.
Northwestern is now 3-1 in the Big Ten.
Wow.
They were 3-0. They lost to Iowa.
By like 17.
Yeah, Iowa overwhelmed them a little bit. Bohannon had a really good game.
Bohannon went off. When he's shooting, he's had a couple games like that where he's just lights out. But I hate Iowa, but man, it's fun to watch those guys shoot.
They're better equipped in the Big Ten when Garza's not doing everything.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have a great game, they can still win. Really, we've said it for the last year. Their only problem is defense. And that's going to hurt them in games. They're going to lose multiple Big Ten games probably because of defense. Like Minnesota, they lost that game to Minnesota because they let them shoot a lot of threes. Marcus Card, when you're playing Minnesota, you got to be able to shut Marcus Card down or keep him quiet, which is exactly what Illinois did. And they're the only team that's done that, and they're the only team that's beaten Minnesota. So
right, and I can only assume it's because they're not athletically as good as other teams, but they're great shooters.
Yeah.
So
and they get a lot of calls underneath. There you go. So
and Garza gets to walk from half court all the way down to the hoop and not get a travel called on him.
Yep, there you go. That's how it works. Minnesota continues to make Illinois look tremendous.
Yes,
Minnesota
unbelievable.
Beats St. Louis after they lost by 27 to Illinois. They beat Iowa. They beat Michigan State.
They didn't beat Michigan State. They embarrassed Michigan State.
And Michigan State has been horrendous in the Big Ten. They're 0-3. Their losses have been to Northwestern, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
Ugh.
And the only game where they were competitive was Wisconsin. So they just laid a complete egg against Northwestern, Minnesota, and they kept it competitive against Wisconsin. But I don't know what the hell's up with that team. I knew that they weren't going to be as good. They lost Winston and Tillman. But, man, Minnesota just – Illinois looks like, world beaters, beating that team by 27, and then they go out and win those other games. So that's crazy. 9 teams ranked in the Big Ten right now in the top 25. Me personally, I have 8 in my top 25, just to be fair, because I have Ohio State at 28. So
yeah, but you do a top 30, so I mean they're technically in your top
9 in the top 30. Yeah.
Yeah, so Big Ten, I mean, it's a crapshoot right now. Anybody can win any night. Anybody can lose. Michigan State is really bad. So Illinois' loss, not so bad now. Everybody's lost in the Big Ten. I think there's nobody undefeated, right?
No, because Iowa lost to Minnesota, Northwestern lost to Iowa.
Yeah.
Wisconsin lost to somebody, I think, right?
Yeah, they lost the other night. Maryland, they got beat by Maryland. You didn't even write that down.
Oh, forgot about that. We'll write over my head.
But yeah, they got beat by Maryland. So
when was that?
Monday night. Michigan is 2-0.
Yeah,
it's the only team.
Yeah,
I don't know if that counts. So they've only played 2 games. 7 overall. What's Michigan been doing? Are they playing any basketball up there?
They have a pretty weak schedule.
When do they even play next? They play Maryland tomorrow.
There you go. So my top 30 has seen some movement, and there's going to be a lot of movement next week because the Big Ten is making everything so damn confusing with how many teams are winning, getting big wins, losing to teams they shouldn't lose to. But number 1 and 2 is Gonzaga Baylor, and it's not close. I mean, I could put like 7 lines of space between 1 and 2 and the rest. So no one's touching them right now. And you could say whatever you want about who Baylor's played and who they haven't played. They beat Illinois up. We know how good they are. Yeah, but
sure,
Baylor's good. 3 through 10, Kansas 3, Villanova 4, Tennessee 5, Wisconsin 6, Houston 7, and that'll change because Houston lost to Tulsa last night. Iowa 8, West Virginia 9. So Big 12, how about that? Kansas and West Virginia and Texas in the top 10 of the Big 12. 11 through 20, Creighton, Mizzou, Rutgers, Illinois, Michigan, Texas Tech, Virginia, Northwestern, Michigan State, Oregon. Michigan State is flirting with possibly not being in the top 30 next week. They're in big trouble. 21 through 30, Duke, Minnesota, Xavier, North Carolina, Arkansas, Richmond, UConn, Ohio State, St. Louis, Florida State. So Minnesota's going to move up. Ohio State will probably move up too. But the Big Ten, very strong. You look at 11 through 20. Right now I have 5 Big Ten teams. 11 through 20. I have 2 in the top 10. That's 7. And then 21 through 30, you got 2 more. So I don't know if there's going to be a 10th team that climbs up. Maybe if Purdue beats Illinois, they'll have a chance to sneak in if they rack more wins together after that. Or if Indiana gets their head out of their asses because I don't know what happened to them. They haven't been good in Big Ten play. Teams that are outside the top 30 that are close: San Diego State, Oklahoma State, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, UCLA. Dropped from the top 30 from last week were Oklahoma State, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. Northwestern, Minnesota, St. Louis all jump back in. So I don't think I'm going to be changing number 1 or 2 anytime soon.
No.
And then tonight,
Gonzaga gets beat by San Francisco.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Gonzaga's going to go undefeated. So there you go. 8 o'clock on the SEC Network tonight. Quick plug for them. You got my number 5 Tennessee against number 12 Missouri. It's actually 7-12 in the actual top 25. So
actual? What do you mean? You are the actual.
I don't really think anyone actually pays attention to mine per se. So I have Tennessee at 5 instead of 7. So a little different there. And then I guess since everyone here that listens to this probably pays attention to college basketball, you got some good Big Ten action tomorrow night. Minnesota, Wisconsin is actually at 3:30 in the afternoon, which would be my number 6 versus my number 22. It's actually 6 versus 21 in the top 25. So afternoon hoops in the Big Ten on December 31st. I just pulled up a video. What am I doing? Pulled up a video that says making the case for Rodgers and Mahomes for NFL MVP. That's an obvious answer. I don't know how I pulled that up.
I don't know why you got to plug Green Bay Packers in our Illini basketball podcast.
Why wouldn't I? That's an obvious one. I was trying to find out the games on Friday, and then I lost it. But Illinois plays Saturday, right? So
they do. It's the only game that matters.
Well, I think I had something to say that I forgot, so you got that. I think that's good. This was a hell of an episode.
Is that everything?
49 minutes.
Good episode.
49 minutes.
It could have been an hour 15, but you told me to slimmer down, okay?
Well, I just think when the game was 4 days ago that everyone kind of forgot. I forgot.
Remember we used to do this once a week?
Well,
so you're telling me that we need to do it immediately after?
I mean, within 3 days of the game. Within 2.
You're the one that scheduled Wednesday.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyways.
Well, I think for the next episode, we just do like Tuesday or Monday. I don't think I'm going to want to do anything Monday. because it's Monday. But either way, Monday or Tuesday, I don't care.
You're the boss, man. I just show up.
We'll be live at 4:40 on Saturday evening.
Yeah, come by for that. That was fun. If you didn't come by for the Missouri one, we had a lot of fun. So come by for that.
No cursing, obviously.
Ethan's going to withhold the F-bombs. 1 or 2 is probably okay.
It depends on how the game goes.
20 in one sentence, I don't know. But, hey, you do you, man. You do whatever you want.
All right. We'll be live next week for 42.
Come by
we'll
and
be live
wish
Saturday.
Ethan a happy birthday, too.
You don't need to do that because...
Talk him into drinking a Busch Latte.
Okay, it's too far. All right. 42 next week. We'll see you there. And hopefully the Illini take care of business Saturday. Have Happy New Year 2021 coming up. Hopefully better than this year.